Hi, I'm Nadia and I'm the Yogi.
And I'm Michelle and I'm the Blonde.
And this is the Yogi and the Blonde podcast.
In this podcast, we offer guidance,
Motivation,
education,
and inspiration
to help you adopt healthy habits you can sustain for life.
If you enjoy the podcast and would like further information,
head over to our Instagram or YouTube pages.
You can find the links in the bio. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to today's episode with me, the Yogi, and
me, the Blonde. Hello.
Hello. Welcome, guys. I'm going to jump right into it. Today is all about how exercise can help you with your mental health. So obviously, Michelle and I, being in the profession that we are, and the things that we do, it's all about not just the physical body and how you look, but it also affects how the brain, how it affects your brain, your sleep, which then also affect your mental health. Which, interestingly, I had run out to my car yesterday and I seen that my one flatmate was in his truck and he was about to leave. And I'm like, hi, bye kind of thing. And I came back and left and I said, where are you off to? And he's like, I'm finally gonna go to the gym to help with, depression and mental health. I was like,
wow.
I just let it be to that. A bit of a broken heart at the moment. So
that's such a weird coincidence timing that we were literally planning on doing a podcast about this, and that is literally what your housemate said. Wow.
Yeah. So I just thought, I wanted to share that. And interestingly enough, I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent here, Michelle. Today, to my clients, my first client, he's been through a lot dealing with prostate cancer. And with that alone, like anybody having to deal with cancer, that also puts a big mental health on because of what you're going through is quite traumatic, right? And it's scary and all of that. And I know he's had a lot of support, but still. And I've been working with him on this, and he's hurt himself. He's hurt his pec, and it was healing last week, and he was on his boat with his brother and he hurt it again. So, and he actually fell and he bruised himself on here and his elbow and all, poor man. And he's like, I don't know if I should come into the gym. And I said to him, are you still able to walk around? And he's like, yep. I'm like, come into the gym. I said to him, if you stay at home, you're going to be stuck in your state of mind of, I'm broken. And when that happens, and when we fret on that and get frustrated, I'm hurt again, we tense the body. And with tensing the body, doesn't allow you to heal and relax, right? Because you go into that whole survival mode. So he came in, we went into the back room. I sat him through. We had a bit of a chat. This is where I learned what happened on the weekend. And then I sat him through a meditation. I read him this little beautiful heartwarming prayer. And and I said, okay. I said, from here, let's go on the treadmill. And we just did an incline walk together on the treadmill. And that was it. But just because I got him to move, to get out of his head, to get out of his home and see, you are safe. You are okay. Yes, you're a little bit sore and bruised, but it doesn't mean that you can't move. Of course, if you've got a broken leg or anything like that, that's a totally different story. But it's important that we still move. Doesn't mean he has to do anything high intensity and lift heavy weights or anything like that, but it's just about moving. And we talked, and he sent me this beautiful text message afterwards and just saying gratitude and everything, because we talked about his state of mind and various things. Then my second client, she sent me a message and she goes, my gland is flared up again. She's like, can we take it easy today? And I know, and she's aware, like obviously we've had this conversation more than once. She actually was tired. She was exhausted because she's burning the candle at both ends and she's not taking time for herself. So I'm going to share with you guys what I shared with her. Okay, Michelle, it's about filling the cup. Okay. When you're aware, Michelle, when you're on the plane, they say, put the mask on before you put on for everyone else. And as females, it's our nature to put ourselves on the back burner. And she sees that. She's a mom. She's a wonderful mom, wife, has her own business, and she's on a few different boards. So she's got lots on her plate. And so I spoke to her. I said, so, because I know she meditates and does her breath work in the morning and all this stuff, but everything's gone out the window. And it's been doing a bit of that yo yo back and up and down and up and down. And so we just chat. We chatted probably for a good, she only does a 30-minute PT session, but she's on my app as well. But and so we just had a chat, and I said, how are you going? What's going on? What's hindering you? So we just kind of dug into it, and we set a plan. So I'm putting some stuff on her app to help remind her about filling her cup, which I'm going to now create a video for her to give a bit of motivation and just saying, hey, don't forget to fill up your cup. And not just saying that, but if envision this, that you fill up a big glass of water, right? And you've got a bunch of these little glasses of water, and they're empty, but one's your partner, husband, wife, the other one's your kids, family, work, community, whatever else you might be into, right? And if you only fill half of the cup and you pour a little bit in each, your cup is going to be empty. How are you to be able to keep servicing and needing a little bit more help? So if you fill your cup fully by doing the things that help to support you, then each time you top up those other things that you put your love and your passion into, you still have some in your cup, because so that means you can keep nourishing yourself. I loved that. What do you think of that? I seen that one day and I was like, that is so good. And then I told her about this and she's like, I really like that. I'm like, I'm gonna create you guys a little video about filling your cup, making sure your cup's full, da da da. And she's like, yeah, I think we need those reminders and stuff, because we all do. I need it as well. So I thought that was quite good. What are your takes on that little tidbit there?
Yeah, that's funny. There's something I saw online somewhere that's similar, kind of similar. And it was a woman, she was training in the gym, new mum, and someone had kind of said, oh my God, don't you feel bad? Like coming here and training and, leaving the kids at home, not on their own, like
Yeah,
with
of course. Yeah.
dad or whatever. But I think, mum guilt is a real
Yeah.
thing. And
Mm.
this woman's response was, absolutely not. I would feel more bad about treating everybody like shit. Oops, can we swear? Yes.
Yeah.
Treating
Go ahead.
everyone like shit because I'm in a bad mood because I haven't done my stuff for myself.
Yeah.
So I think that's a similar thing.
It
It's like
it's
recognizing I cannot give and live in the way that I want to live if I'm running on nothing, if I'm depleted. You just can't give anymore. And I think it's a similar thing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. There's all different scenarios, right? And that's a great scenario. I like that scenario because that is so true. There's that mom guilt thing. And
Mm,
that's so true. I like seeing it at that point because, it'd be the same thing with the dad, right? He might have that guilt of not spending time with his family, but he's not putting in time for himself. So he can be the provider. He can be the foundation for the family. You know what I mean?
mm,
Sometimes like there is that stereotype of that as well for males.
mm,
And yeah, it's just it's interesting. It's just about filling that cup, really. Now,
mm.
Michelle did some research. She's got some studies that show how this is. And I'm sure you guys have heard this before, but it's always a good reminder. That's one thing I remember one of my yoga teachers had said, even though it's something that you've heard 1,000 times, it's always good to hear it again because we forget. Sometimes we get lost and we get just kind of tunnel vision and we forget about it. So, Michelle, what do you got to share with us, love?
I love researching.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think obviously this podcast is about exercise as a tool for helping with your mental health, and we're going to go more into it. But we're coming at this. There's evidence to show that exercise can be beneficial for your mental health. It isn't just something that PTs say to make you come to the gym. Like they've actually done scientific research, and a lot of the big mental health organizations in New Zealand and globally actually will recommend exercise as part of a mental health recovery program. So
Mhm.
I've got one study here, which I think just has a really nice summary. So I'll just read out this highlighted. So basically, this study shows that exercise improves mental health by reducing anxiety, depression, and negative mood, and by improving self-esteem and cognitive function. It's also been found to alleviate symptoms such as low self-esteem and social withdrawal. So I think
Makes
it's
total sense.
so I think it's important to know that scientists have looked into this, and there are kind of hypotheses about why this is the case.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of kind of thought that perhaps it's got something to do with the increased blood flow, bringing blood to the brain, um, the HPA axis, the
Yeah.
hypothalamic, oh, I hate that
But it makes sense.
pituitary adrenal axis, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, because that's the brain, as we've talked about, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure before, the brain, the stress hormones, bringing us out of that stressed state into our more relaxed state. So all of that works together with the blood flow. So these are the hypotheses as to why it works the way it does, but scientific evidence has shown that exercise can be beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it makes sense. It totally makes sense because you think about it like I don't know, I'm sure it's the same for you. If I am moving and everything like that, I feel better. Even my aura ring will state, oh, you did great activity today, and that will help with your health and sleep, but also with the blood flow because you got to think about like our heart has a pumping valve, but like your lymphatic system doesn't. So the moving and the walking, like that boom, boom, or the bouncing on trampolines, anything like that, helps with the lymphatic system. So you got to be moving to help with the lymphatic system, which also helps with drainage and water retention and all that kind of stuff. And detoxifying, not detoxifying, but it helps with moving that through the body.
Mm. Yeah.
So so it makes sense because
Mm.
our brain and our bodies are made to be moving. We're
Yeah.
not made to be sitting, and we're not made to be sitting in a chair position for long periods of times. Because you think about chair position, that's also like when you're traveling, not just when you're sitting on the couch or you're in front of the TV, you're sitting down for dinner, and we're actually made to get off the ground. So if you stop that halfway, then you're not getting that full range of motion, right? And it's the same thing as just filling your cup halfway and then trying to help fill up everybody else's cup at the same
Mm.
time, right? So it's that same thing as like stopping that movement halfway.
Mm. Um, I love that. I think we should all just start sitting on the floor.
I do a lot. Do you
I've
know
been sitting
what's
on the
funny?
floor a lot recently.
Do you know
Don't know
what's
why.
funny?
Just moved to having our dinner on the floor.
I do,
Our
like I
coffee
do.
table.
If I have the choice, I'll sit on the floor. Like before I shifted, when I was living on my own, I had a coffee table as that's where I sat and ate. Sat on my meditation cushion and just would eat
Mm.
there. I just never, yeah. And it's interesting just thinking about it being now in a shared flatting situation. Um, I'll even at times come into my room and I'll pop, if I'm not at my standing desk, which I am at the moment, I might pop my laptop on the ground and, or just sit on the ground and have some food. Like, I don't know. It's
Mm.
just, yeah, I don't, it's interesting. But, and you think about it like Asian cultures, like in Japan, don't they sit like in like coffee
Mm.
table style type of
Yeah.
seating arrangement, and they're sitting on cushions and very oriental type of flow. And I like that because we
Mm.
are built to get up and off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, There we go. That was a nice little tangent.
I liked it. I
So
liked it.
exercise for mental health. So exercise can be used as kind of a preventative measure. Regular exercise obviously has tons of health benefits,
Mhm.
including for your mental health, just to kind of keep you on an even keel. I'm going to put my hands up here and say that in my life, I'm very, very fortunate that I have never suffered from mental health disorder. Um, of course, my mood varies. I'm a
You're
woman.
human,
I have a menstrual cycle. I
and you're human.
definitely have, and I'm human. I have been nervous, I've been anxious, but I've never, I can hand on heart gratefully say I've never had it to an extent that it has impeded my life. So
Mm,
a lot of, I guess, my contribution to this conversation now will come from basically the fact that I do exercise regularly, and maybe this has got something to do with the fact that generally I feel mentally well. But of course,
mhm.
I have lots of clients that are in different positions. So I have worked with people that have been experiencing mental health
Yeah.
episodes. And I think you can probably say that you can come from the other side of the spectrum there.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, Michelle. That's right. So growing up, if you guys haven't listened to the first three episodes where how we met, how we got started and just telling our stories, part of my story is the fact that I was depressed. I even tried to take my life when I was 17. So I get that. And it's something that I always still struggle with. And I've got my good days and bad days, and that's okay. But I've got my tools and, some support as well. That's another thing. Now, the thing is, though, you got to think about is if you know anyone who is struggling, make sure that you pop in, make sure that you have a check-in call, not just a text, but like give them a call, check up on them if you know anyone. And you can never force anyone to do something when they're in this way, but just planting little seeds and checking up on them and giving them a call of like actual call rather than texting. I feel that's a bit hiding behind devices. But if you give them a call or pop in to say hello, I think that will help someone because otherwise you can feel very alone and you just want to crawl underneath a rock and disappear.
Mm.
So yeah, so if you know anyone, make sure that you check in on them, check in how they're doing, and just have an ear, have a shoulder for them, and if you know anyone to just get some counseling, group counseling, get them to talk to their doctor to get help. That is the most important thing. And even if it's just maybe getting with them and going for a walk with them, let's get them out, even if it's just a 5-10 minute walk. It's better than nothing. That's my theory. Some movement is better than nothing, even if it's just a 5-10 minute walk every day, because before you know it, they'll be like, oh, I feel a little bit better after that. And then as you start to do a little bit more, you start to doing more. And even just through my own experience with, I've had a bit of a back injury. I haven't been moving much lately. I've put on some weight. I'm all good with that. Doesn't bother me, because it will come off. Is that I'm slowly getting back into movement and how to move my body, what's going to be the best way to move my body. And because that has also affected the way that I think and the way that I feel. And yeah, and it does a bit of a ripple effect. So making sure that you've got that support is such an important thing. And somebody checking in on you checking in on someone if you know of someone, and just say, hey, I'm going to come by for a cup of tea, and then, hey, come with me for a walk. I'm just going to go walk around. I just want to stretch my legs a bit, just trying to get that movement. And it's the
Mm.
support that helps.
I
Now,
think, sorry, just
yeah, no, keep
that's
going,
just
keep
made
going.
made me think of just a couple of clients that I have, um where, and this isn't a shameless plug to get a PT if you don't have one, but they have been going through a tough time, but because they've been booked in to a PT session, they
Mm-hmm.
have honored that, because
Yeah.
depending on what your terms and conditions are, you might still get charged if you don't turn up to your PT session. So,
Yeah. Yeah. A bit of T's
sometimes
and C's.
having something in the calendar, having a financial incentive actually, and as you found with your client this morning, actually does make um, people kind of have that accountability, and it gives them something to kind of get
Yeah.
up for and come to. So I've
Yeah.
definitely had a couple of clients at the moment where they're going through quite a lot of stuff in their personal lives, but they keep those appointments and they come to those appointments. And by the time the session has finished, they always say, I feel so much better. I'm so glad I came.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just that kind of consistency and having something. And like you said about your other client, things can get on top of you.
Yeah.
And sometimes one of the first things to go tends to be your
Exercise.
movement, your exercise. I guess
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, probably one of the first things to go is exercise, structured
Hmm.
exercise.
Hmm.
And then probably movement starts to go after that as well.
Yeah, yeah, no, I completely agree with that. And it's like the second client that I was saying that had everything went out the window. And I said to her, I said, congratulations for getting back on the horse. She said she was like, and I love how a lot of them are raw and honest with me. She's like, I was about to cancel on you. And I'm like, good on you. Like acknowledging that and able to share that. That's even an amazing step. So that's giving me goosebumps just talking about that. That's just like, that is the step forward. That is the thing that you want to be doing, is stopping. Because when she wants to cancel or he wants to cancel, that's ego seeping through. And if he, with himself getting injured, he like tensed up, that's ego again. So ego comes about in various forms coming through. And the fact that they were able to like recognize that and keep going through with it, it was like, hello, they were like feeling
Mm.
so amazing afterwards. When you get texts later on, thank you, that was a great session, I needed that. And it's like, yeah, see, like it just makes such a big difference. And
Yeah.
it's something to think about. And that's what, a good PT is not just about giving you a program and that's it. But it's, a lot of my clients, I feel like I'm buddies and friends, and I'm, a bit of a counselor, even though I'm not a counselor. Let me just say that right now. I'm not a counselor. I am a coach. I am a health coach. I am, a life coach. So I do help in that way, but I am not a counselor. So, yeah, but it fascinates me, and it's amazing how people see that as well when it's like that light. And now I'm going to flip it a bit around in a way as well. I've got a client who loves the gym, loves the gym. She does classes. That's her thing, is classes. She only does one session a week with me, and it's on the gym floor. And I remember when she first signed up with me, she was only going to sign up for a few months, and that was it. And this is almost, probably a year and 8, 10 months or something like that. I think it's a year and 10 months, actually. No, a year and 9 months that she's been with me now. And what's happened is that by getting a PT, it's brought confidence in the classes for her, confidence on to lift a bit heavier, confidence on how to do the movement properly. So that's the thing. It's not just about the mental health, because part of it is confidence as well. So, and that is part of mental health, actually, if you think about it,
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
confidence would
Because
be mental health as well.
if you're
So,
feeling like you have low self-esteem, you're feeling non-confident, to come into a gym space can be mega intimidating. So
yeah,
to actually come into that space, learn a new skill, own it, go well. And what thing I love about weightlifting in particular is that you can physically measure your progress. Oh, I'm lifting heavier. You're lifting 5 kilos heavier than you were 6 months ago. Like, that's
yeah,
rewarding and that's very real. And feeling that strength feeds into feeling more confident and
mm-hmm,
increasing your self-esteem. And those are the things that can kind of spiral out of control when you're
yeah,
not doing so well with your mental health. So a
yeah.
lot of
And
people
bringing
lift for that reason.
and bringing that mind body connection as well, because I talk a lot about that as well, as bringing that mind body connection. Otherwise, we're on autopilot and we're just like moving, right? And rather bring that mind body connection and engaging the muscles. I've had a client of mine, she's like, oh, my brain just feels so tired sometimes afterwards. And that's just like, well,
That's
because you're,
good.
although otherwise you're just on autopilot, right? So
Yes,
it's
yeah.
quite interesting to see that. So it there's a lot of layers when you actually look at it. It's exercise, you're moving your body, but you're connecting your mind body connection. You're also connecting your breath with the movement. There's a lot of layers when we look at it. And when we say mind body, it's also like bringing that engagement of those muscles, you know, you got to think about it. You got to squeeze. It just doesn't, if I was daydreaming, it's harder. If I'm looking off right now and I'm just kind of watching the trees swaying around in the wind, I try to squeeze. But then if I focus, I can squeeze harder.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Try that for me,
Mm.
Michelle. Just look out, just space out, daydream, and then try to engage. Just give yourself a bit of time and just daydream, and then just try to engage muscles, but thinking and visualizing where you want to be, where you'd rather be, maybe on the beach with your family and stuff.
I'm
Now open
actually
your eyes and focus on the engagement and re-engage. That's it's stronger when you're focused, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like if you think about it, when you think about yoga, when what the physical part of yoga is called asana, it's the physical movement, right? And people that never done yoga or don't really know much about yoga, it's about actually a movement meditation because you're focused on the breath, you're focused on your body, of your alignment, where you're at. You're not daydreaming because that's when you'll injure yourself. And exercise is the same way. It's a form of meditation. You're connected with your body, you're in that movement of that exercise. I don't know. I
Mm.
just thinking about it, that makes me think of it that way.
Yeah. And I guess when you're so focused on your body, your muscles activating through movements, you're not really thinking about your problems or the
Mhm.
negative self thoughts that you have going around your head. So I
Yeah,
think this is why a
love.
lot of people say, I work
Turn off.
out to stress relieve, because when you're actually really doing it properly and really focusing, obviously you don't want to hurt yourself, so you have to switch off all of those other things and really focus on what you're doing.
That's
And just
right.
having that time out from your problems can make a world of difference. So
And can be a good reset because you stop thinking about that the issues or the issue, whatever it might be, and it's just whirling in circles in
absolutely.
your head, and you've actually stopped it. It'll actually give you a better perspective, and it might, I'm not going to say it's going to give you answers, but it might give you an answer or a resolution or an idea of how to approach it differently or to change or what you need to do or remove from your life. That might be something that's very toxic, right?
Mm,
So you might have to remove that or shift your environment. It might be your environment. That's something I've learned lots lately is about your environment. Yeah, and just all of that can affect you.
mm.
Now, I think we've touched a good point on this. What is there anything that you
Yeah.
want to go over, Michelle?
Well, I guess something just to ask, because like I said, I've not been in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
I guess let's say somebody is listening to this podcast and they're struggling at the moment, and the last thing they want to do is get out of bed and go to the gym and lift weights. I mean, we've talked a bit about yoga, we've talked a bit about weights because these are our wheelhouses.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but how can we encourage somebody? Obviously, setting an appointment, meeting with a friend, but what can we say to people that are really struggling and don't want to do anything? How can they kind of get started into doing something? Because it's probably not a
Yes.
great time to come in and start deadlifting, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, this is not a plug-in to sign up with Michelle or at all, because I'm all about find someone you resonate with, is find some support because accountability is such a big thing. and shop around, meet people for a consultation. That's what I would say, is get support. That's, you're not alone. There's a lot of people who've been through that. There's a lot of programs out there. And I'm just, because I know this is like global, so I don't want to say contact this and it's actually not within your country. It's start looking for help. Like maybe what would be good is to book in and get support, look at supports. There's actually there's a website called bark.com, and there's all sorts. There's life coaches, health coaches, personal trainers. Start going there, or start seeing what's locally in your gyms. See what they offer as well, because accountability is another thing. Somebody that will take the time. I have some clients who are like going through surgery, going through some other things that in life and stuff, or they've learned that they're pregnant, any of that kind of thing. And I'll send a message, a voice message or a text, and just check in with them. How are you doing? Are you okay? And just say, and have little plugins for them to help support, remind them about their mantra. What is their mantra to bring them back centered, or it might not be a mantra, but I guess that's the best way, but like a word or something like that. So, and it's finding someone to help and support you. Yeah, I'm just going to plug in. I've had a rough year and a half. And I'm actually going to start seeing a friend of mine who's amazing. I'm going to get some life coaching with her. I just need some help. So I'm going to reach out. I've already reached out. We're going to be starting in a few weeks. So, yeah, and just everybody needs help. So it's about reaching out and finding someone you resonate with. That's the main thing, that you resonate, that have the value. So you kind of have to do that. Otherwise, if that's not accessible for you and you're not at that point, is find one thing that makes you happy. One thing that is good for you, not drugs and alcohol. That's just masking it. But find something that helps you. Let's say for me, I love animals. I love dogs. The gym, they know that. The gym manager, she's always telling me who's in the back there, what furry friends in the back. She knows I love dogs, and she can see how it helps lift my spirits, and it fills my cup. Really, it totally fills my cup. So it's just finding that. Either it's spending time with someone, talking to someone, maybe it might be gardening, cooking, whatever. Just one little step. It doesn't have to be something grand. A lot of people think they need to do that big grand thing. Just one thing, it's like, make your bed. Maybe that's what you're going to do, is just to get up, make your bed. Because there's studies show just getting up and doing one thing, even like making your bed, helps create walking you forward towards other things. Make a bed, have a glass of water, have an apple, have a salad, have a banana, have something nourishing. If you have a craving sweet tooth, there's things in that way. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm rambling a bit, Michelle.
No, it does make sense, because actually that's it. Like, we're saying exercise is good for you. It's good for your health. If you're having a mental health episode, exercise can help. But of course, the last thing you want to do at that time is anything. So actually taking those small steps and saying, do you know what? I'm going to get up. I'm going to make my bed. I'm going to have some water. I'm going to have some nourishing food. Each of those is a step, and it's a step forward. And I guess that's it. Just build up, start slow. You don't have to say, right, exercise is good for me. I'm going to go for a 10K run every day. Just get up,
build up to it. It's like,
and
today with both of my clients, I'm like, come in, we'll work on it. We'll do some breathing. We'll do this, we'll do that. And talking out with one client about what's the plan. Okay, I'll put this on the app as a reminder. She's like, yes, I really like that support, that reminding, Great. I'll do that for you, And then we were on the cross trainer and we were talking, just doing some movement. And then she was like, oh, you remember about my knee? Oh, it's coming up again. I keep forgetting to tell you. Okay, this is what I want you to do. So we went into the functional room. I showed her what I want to do. I said, I'll put that in your program on the app. Great. Perfect. That was it. That was our session. But do you
Yeah.
know what? She got out of her head of, oh, I can't have time for myself. I've been so overwhelmed. She stopped. She came in. She had time for herself. And she's like, I got back on the horse. I feel better. And
Yeah.
same with the other client. We were just walking on the treadmill, incline. Okay. Increase the incline, increase the speed a bit more, kept talking and walking and just even that. And that's why I love my job, because for me, it's not about how the physical body looks. It's about this, then the body will come into place.
Yeah. Love it. So yeah, it doesn't have to be a big grand thing.
Mm-hmm.
It can be something. And
Mm-hmm.
that, as your clients found today, can lead on to more things as you start to feel those benefits. Love it.
Yeah, same. Yeah, today,
Exercise.
yeah, it was a quiet day with clients, but to be honest, that filled my cup because I
was going to
helped them.
say, it sounds like it was a cup filling day. So
It was a
lovely.
cup filling day. Cup
Nice.
filling day in so many ways. Oh, okay, guys, it's enough of the silliness now. I feel a bit silly. I think we should cut it there, Michelle.
She's off. Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, guys. And remember to follow us, like, share, even share on your stories, share in social media, like maybe one little tidbit, share this episode. You can actually link and share it down below and share and say what you like, because then we can spread the word and help others who resonate with us. I know there's millions of people out there and people that are a lot more famous, that are really famous, but it's about who you resonate with. And there might be one person out of 1,000 people that'll resonate with us. And if we can make that difference, I'm fucking happy. How about you, Michelle? I'm sure Michelle feels the same.
Agreed. Yeah. We are the only Yogi and the Blonde. So
the only Yogi. Okay, guys, have a fabulous day. Like, share, love us. Thank you for joining. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. If you have enjoyed listening to our podcast today
and want to hear more, please subscribe using the button below.